Next, we have Susan Bassi.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. My name is Susan Bassi, and in 2015, I filed my first complaint with the State Bar ever in my life. I didn't even know what the State Bar was or how it operated. And I filed a complaint against Nat Hales, a private judge in Santa Clara County. The State Bar then took over a year to investigate that complaint. And for issues that were clearly and proven with documentary evidence related to bribery, related to corruption in the private judging, gave Nat Hales a confidential discipline. And at the time, the judge assigned to the case was Judge James Towery, former chief trial counsel of the State Bar. I didn't know the significance of that at the time that he presided over my divorce case. He issued orders to have my community property pay jams, and the pull into private judging began with James Towery, and the State Bar has known this and has allowed jams to become too much of an influence and a privatization of our courts. And they have done so because it becomes an incentive for public court judges, and it is the basis of the corruption in our state. In 2016, the State Bar became subject to the California Public Records Act, and I did my first records request related to James Towery's pre-employment history at the State Bar. I did a second records request on August 5th, 2017. And when the State Bar produced those records, Suzanne Grant and the whole lot of them, including Vanessa Holton overseeing all of it, produced the social security number and the home address of James Towery. I then delivered those records to the California Publishers Association, where we were working on a public records project. And the State Bar contacted me and asked me to sign an affidavit that I had not distributed the records. They knew the affidavit that they typed was false. It was an entrapment. And if I had not been a little more sophisticated at that point, I might have signed an affidavit that would have put me in prison because the State Bar set me up to do that. In 2017, I discovered that Vanessa Holton and James Towery had a series of email communications while he presided over my personal divorce case and I was doing my work as an investigative reporter. I had formal training and experience with investigative reporters and editors, which included working with reporters from the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times, and all of the other mainstream news organizations. I have the skills and the training to read records at the State Bar, unlike any other reporter in the state. I then found emails in 2022 between Vanessa Holton and James Towery. James Towery in those emails called me dangerous on multiple levels, and nothing was done when the State Bar got that information. I have the cryptocurrency accounts of James Towery and know that it is connected to Steve Masser. I have gotten the public records related to all the prosecutions and the arbitration with jams involving Joe Dunn and the whistleblower complaint. I am aware that Vanessa Holton signed off a waiver of objection to the arbitrator from jams having an association in the family, which is an organization that prohibits women to be members. So a female member of the State Bar, the general counsel, waived a conflict of interest involving women, as the State Bar says that it's going to give equal protection for all of its members, which include women. In 2017, I got all of those records related to the arbitration with Joe Dunn. The amount of money that was spent and given to jams for that arbitration and conceal what was going on at the State Bar is disgusting. The redactions that the State Bar agreed not to redact for the LA Times would have implicated James Towery, and you continued to cover it up and protect a man who was in your office of chief trial counsel and the original person who protected Thomas Giardi. In 2010, shortly before James Towery went to work for the bar, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit, referred Thomas Giardi in the Dole Food Company case. That case was then assigned to the Office of Chief Trial Counsel, where James Towery recused himself. But before he recused himself, he appointed a special prosecutor. I'm unaware of the law that allows someone to recuse and then appoint the special prosecutor who was going to investigate Thomas Giardi. You missed the boat there. You allowed it to happen. And for the next 10 years, Tom Layton and everybody at the State Bar became the Wolf of Wall Street for our legal profession. And you knew it, you allowed it to happen, and you have continued to protect James Towery. What I did not know until 2022 was that the state bar attorneys and James Towery had been carving out a little secret meeting, the Bar Bench Media Police Committee in Santa Clara County, where they invited judges, lawyers, police officers, and only reporters from the San Jose Mercury and NBC News. And those reporters decided what would get published and what would not. They rigged headlines, and it is the most unethical thing I've ever seen in journalism. And my colleagues at the San Jose Mercury were sitting on that committee with James Towery, emailing with his wife and deciding what was going to go on in those meetings, where there were no records kept, but where they used the money from the general funds of the court related to juries. Lisa Herrick is general counsel of the court. She was involved in that Bar Bench Media Police Committee as a private attorney and as a government attorney. All of the attorneys in Santa Clara County were involved in going at the highest level. James Williams, Jeff Rosen, Jay Borski, James Gibbons Shapiro, all of them. And when James Towery went to the state bar in 2010, he protected all of the prosecutorial misconduct of that office that was revealed in the San Jose Mercury's original Tainted Trials, Tarnished, Stolen Justice series. We've been reporting.
Your 5 minutes is up, so I would just ask that you complete your comments, please.
I think we may have lost Ms. Bassi. Next we have, oh, I see Ms. Bassi.
All right, Ms. Bassi, I see you've returned, so your 5 minutes are up. If you could just wrap your comments up, please.
I would like to talk about Sherry Diamond. Sherry Diamond is the attorney in the Santa Clara County Bar Association. She sent an email about my work that is defamatory, false, and completely evidence of corruption to Erica Elizabeth Liu, who manages the arbitration for the state bar. And in that email, she admits to destroying an official document. That is the crime that currently former President Trump is being prosecuted for. The state bar has done nothing about that email since October of 2023. And last Friday, Sherry Diamond was managing the local holiday party for the attorneys in Santa Clara County that are mainly family law section attorneys. And she was the gatekeeper, and I watched that woman record victims of the Women SV runner and capper scam with Hoover Kerpalka. What Sherry Diamond is being allowed to do, because the state bar will not investigate her and because Elizabeth Liu did not report what was in that email, is repulsive. And if you will not investigate somebody who admits to destroying an official document, then there is no purpose in having the state bar do anything, and it should be defunded. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments.